Good morning, everybody, again. So today we'll be talking about second portion of inebriance. Yesterday we have talked about uh, ethyl alcohol, its chronic, acute and chronic clinical manifestation as well as its treatment. So today we'll talk about the rest of the inebriance. When a person drinks alcohol, he or she will definitely get drunk in our layman term. So why we need to study alcohol is because there are so many medical legal issues. So when a person is drunk, he might cause lots of ruckus, or he might get into drink and drive cases, or he might violate a person. They can go into the violence. So sometimes patients are brought to you especially in ER, so that drunkenness examination is done. So basically, drunkenness examination is done to see that whether a person has consumed alcohol or not. Then, if he has consumed the alcohol, whether he is under the influence of alcohol or not. This is the case. In Nepal, there is yesterday I showed you the blood alcohol concentration, and it's various kinds of stages. But in Nepal, even if a little amount of alcohol you have consumed, that means you are drunk. Means the police, there is no such law that says this amount of alcohol if you consume, then it doesn't mean that you are drinking and driving. Because in lots of countries, other countries, there are rules that you can drink some amount of alcohol, then also you can drive. It won't be illegal. But in Nepal, if you drink even a small glass or 30 ml of alcohol and you are driving and you are caught, then that is illegal. That will be illegal. Drunkenness is a condition which is actually produced in a person who has taken the alcohol. Quantity can be less or more, but it depends in various person, because there are if a heavy drinker is drinking alcohol, then he needs more quantity to get drunk. If a person who never drinks alcohol, then even less amount will be able to make him drunk. So it depends on the quantity also, so that he or she will lose the control of his faculties to an extent that he is unable to execute the work he is doing, or whatever thing he is engaged in. That is drunkenness. According to British Medical Association, in 1927, they have described drunkenness as an individual can be certified to be drunk only when there is evidence that he was so much under the influence of alcohol as to have lost the control of its faculties to such an extent as to render him unable to execute safely the occupation in which he was engaged at that material time. Then we have got term drunkenness and we have got term intoxication. Drunkenness means it is the behavior displayed by an individual who consumes alcohol. Okay, when a person is drunk, he has consumed alcohol, then the behaviors what he shows is drunkenness. Whereas because we are focusing medico-legally, so it is very important. Whereas intoxication is described as the effect of alcohol, effect of the condition that follows the administration of psychoactive substance and results in the disturbances in the level of consciousness. The person cannot think properly. His perception will be deranged. His judgment will be affected. His behavior, his psychosocial functional analysis, everything will be deranged. That is intoxication. So there are lots of things, lots of tests for drunkenness. I have got this. This is the drunkenness certificate or report of drunkenness examination, which is in your logbook. I don't know whether you have your logbook right now or not, but you can later on check your logbook. So these are the things I will tell about what kind of examination will be done as we go through the certificate. So I won't go much in detail regarding case registration number. This is the prerequisition which the police gives to you only after getting a letter from police, you will do the examination of drunkenness in the person. So these are the details about that. In this page, we have to do the examination, what time you are examining the patient, then its history, how he got drunk, because there must be a reason why police has brought the person for examination. Police won't just got a person who is drinking in his home and bring to you for the examination. He might have been indulged in any kind of violence activities, fighting, झगडा पर्यो, खाँदा खाँदै हान्न थाले एकलाई एकअर्कालाई, okay, or he might be because you just now somebody said about mapase, okay, madira seven, madirapan seven, mapase seva, then in that the person might be drinking and driving, or he might have or she might have caused the accident. Only then police will bring the person to exam in the about whether he has drunk or not. If he has drunk, then what is its responsibility? So this history you have to note down here. You have to note down why he was brought for examination and his past medical history. He has consumed anything or not. In this phase, in this first page of the your report. Now, our main focus is examination in its finding. So we will take the examination, we'll do the examination of the person. First, we have to know that his height, weight, blood pressure, these are simple. Then you can, because it's not necessary that every time you drink, it will smell, okay? Sometimes there are so many things that can hide the smell of the alcohol, like gutka, rajnigandha, lots of chocolate. If you chew the mint chewing gum, that may hide the breath. If the person who is drinking and tries to cheat the law, then they have got lots of ways to cheat. Okay, so breath sometimes maybe you might not smell the breath from the person. He might use the mouth fresheners. Okay, so there are lots of things. Now we are more focused in its gait, gait. So you ask the person to walk, and turn. That is also known as walk and turn test, WAT. Then you have to assess the neuromuscular coordination by manner of walking, how he walks, whether he's walking properly, or he is staggering, or when he is walking, he's very careful, like he won't tumble around. So you have to check the gait. Then speech. You have to talk with him. If he is heavily intoxicated, the speech will be slurred. You won't be able to hear properly. But if he is in control, if you think that he has consumed alcohol but he has good command of speech, then you can give him some kind of tongue twisters, so that he will do, because there he has to be very concentration is needed. So at the time it might slip. So you can know that. And this is also one of the earliest muscles in coordination sign. Then whether he is conscious or not, that when you see the patient, you can know by yourself. And orientation to time, place, and person. When he is brought to you for the examination, whether he is oriented where he is being brought or not, because drinking alcohol and driving, sometimes a person might have drunk 1 or 2 pack of whiskey or gin or vodka, or 2 to 3 glasses of wine, or 1 or 2 glasses of beer, but they might be perfectly fine and driving, but they got caught on police examination, and they were brought to our center for examination of drunkenness. At the time, what happens that it is illegal, as I have already mentioned, that it is illegal in our country that whatever amount of alcohol you consume, it will be illegal. So it doesn't matter, okay? Then reflexes. Now you have to check that whether when you ask him to check the knee and ankle reflexes, then see whether it is delayed or sluggish. Then plantar reflexes, see how his extensor plantar response is. Then his visual acuity, whether it is blur, whether he can see properly or not, see his pupil, whether it's constricted or not. Because as I mentioned that in when you remember think back in stages of intoxication, I mentioned that gradually people might be nystagmus. Okay, there will be jerky movements of eyelids. Then there can be McEwen sign. You can check it in the person. It will be constricted. If you give any external stimuli, then see whether transient dilatation is present or not. Like this, you do the visual examination. Then we do muscle coordination test, or you can also tell it neuromuscular coordination, finger to finger test. Ask the person to raise his both hands and only one finger raised. Then ask him that whether he can touch the fingers or not. Then if he can, then you can tick in can. If he cannot perform. If he performs with difficulty, you tick accordingly. Then finger nose test. You ask the person to close his eyes or her eyes. Then by his finger, ask him to touch his nose, but the eye should be closed. Then buttoning and unbuttoning the cloth. Ask the person to open the clothes, because it is very small, minute detail, but it requires the coordination. So whether he is able to perform or not. Then walking straight line, again that is related to gait. Okay, to maintain his balance, he can or he cannot. Same. Then ask him to pick the very small things from the surface. You throw like pen is bigger. Try to throw a bit smaller things like needles or buttons or coins. Ask him whether he's able to pick those things from the surface or not. Then another is to ask him to write his name, his address. Then you can see that if he's even though if he's drunk, he has drank some liquid alcoholic beverage, but he can write it. Then even though he has drank alcohol, he has good command of the coordination. Sometimes patient will, when they will start writing, initially they will start writing properly, but later on the letters will fade away. So this is how you do the neuromuscular coordination test. Then at the time the patient is brought, see the condition of his clothes, whether he is properly or she is properly dressed or not, or sometimes the person might vomit, sometimes while walking or while doing, if they are indulged in violence, in fight, then clothes might be torn, or there might be some dirt stains. Then you have to check if any injuries are present or not in the body. That doesn't mean like there will be injuries, but there may or may not be injuries. It is not necessary that you will find injuries all the time, because if the person has, as I have mentioned, a small amount of alcohol and he is in good, or she is in good command of it, then there might not be any test. There might not be anything you will notice. But what happens that they got caught on the breath analyzer. Sometimes breath analyzer will catch it and they'll be brought for examination. So even that time you will do the test. Then mental assessment test should be done. These all things will assess how he is. Means you have to ask what is his name, from where he hails from. Then you can ask about his memory. He recalls anything, recent events, simple calculation, how much he drank, how he paid. Like this, you have to tell. You just talk randomly so that you can think and see that he is alert or not, to check his mental assessment or her mental assessment. Then last one you have to do is blood analysis and urine analysis. See, I just started the class and we are running out of time. I don't know why you come so early for the class. 20 minutes early you come for the classes. 10 minutes only left. Okay. I don't know why you open it so early so that time runs out. Then blood analysis for the alcohol should be taken because it is one of the important tests. Okay, without blood examination, you cannot give the opinion. Then if you are able, then you can take urine for alcohol for the test. When laboratory analysis is done, then you combine with the report, then what are the treatment provided in the hospital, because if the person is heavily drunk, then he or she might need medical attention also. So everything you write then. Lastly, now time for your opinion. The first opinion you will give is the examinee has not consumed alcohol, first thing, because not every time when examinee is brought, he or she will consume alcohol. Sometimes mistakenly in group, they might come. Then the examinee has consumed alcohol, but not under influence of it. I said I give you examples in between. So this is one of the example. The examinee has consumed alcohol and under influence of it. Then fourth one is the examinee needs treatment in hospital for intoxication by alcoholic drinks. And if more than this you see any other remarks, then accordingly you write your opinion. Then lastly, name of your examination, your qualification, seal of the hospital, and dispatch your drunkenness report to the police. So this is how you do the examination of drunkenness. Now we have got Windmark's formula. This formula estimates the alcohol concentration in the body. So we have got two methods to check, either by blood or either by examination of urine, laboratory examination of blood or urine. So the formula is for blood is A equals to CPR or PCR. In some book it is written PCR. In urine, 3/4 by QPR. If you remember yesterday, alcohol level, same amount of alcohol. If the person has consumed alcohol, then it is 1:1.3 ratio. So in urine, the blood alcohol level will be seen more. That's why 3/4 QPR. Okay. So now I'll just tell you what are the terms. A means quantity of blood consumed in grams. The result which we need, that is A, quantity of alcohol consumed in grams. Then C is concentration of alcohol in blood, which might be gram per liter or decigram percent. P is the body weight of the person in kilograms. R is the constant, which is 0.68 in men and 0.55 in female, because female body, they will get more easily drunk than male, so it is less, the constant. And Q, it is concentration of alcohol in urine. Again, it will be in gram per liter or decigram percent. Then the test is done in the lab, and according to this formula, blood alcohol level is measured. So this is all about the drunkenness, which is very important for you because it comes in your exam as a practical questions. Then in Viva also it comes. Now another alcohol we'll be studying today is methyl alcohol. CH3OH. It is the molecular formula of methyl alcohol, also known as methanol. It is commonly known as wood spirits, wood naphtha. It is also a clear, colorless, flammable mixture of light hydrocarbons. When in its raw form, it can be used for many petrochemicals and to make plastics. It is clear, colorless, volatile liquid. Only when it is in its pure form, it will be very volatile liquid. And it has a characteristic odor and the taste is bitter. It is prepared by destructive distillation of wood or molasses. Now, commercially, methyl alcohol is used for as a part of embalming fluid, windshield washing fluid. In industries, it is used as solvent for gums, fats, the chemical for cinematograph, where photographer use in it dark rooms. Now we talk about mode of action or mechanism of action of methyl alcohol, how it causes its action. Methyl alcohol is metabolized in liver. Again, the process is same. It is metabolized in liver by alcohol dehydrogenase pathway, which further metabolizes, okay, methyl alcohol or methanol goes through the alcohol dehydrogenase pathway and forms formaldehyde. Again, it goes through aldehyde dehydrogenase pathways and forms formic acid. Again, folate dependent metabolism occurs. Then carbon dioxide and water are produced. There is lots of amount of lactic acid formed, formic acid form, which is very harmful for the body. And this causes the degenerative changes in the internal organs, and especially it affects the eye. The metabolization is slow, so rate of its elimination is also very slow. And it doesn't directly flushes out from the body. It gets accumulated in body, so which is more dangerous than ethyl alcohol. Its main focus is vitreous body and optic nerve. So, which leads to the optic nerve atrophy. The main thing you see after the changes, after the person gets drunk and there are complications, the main thing it will damage will be the eye. Ethyl alcohol counteracts the action of methyl alcohol from its intracellular attachment. Also, it is a CNS depressant and causes respiratory depression and death. 80% of methyl alcohol is excreted unchanged through the lungs, 3% in the urine. Fatal dose may be 70 to 100 ml of the liquid of the methyl alcohol, and fatal period can be 24 to 36 hours. Sometimes it gets delayed up to 3 to 4 days. And there are cases where people have died due to large amount of methyl alcohol poisoning. I'll tell you at the later at the end of the class. Okay, this one. When we talk about symptoms, it usually develops within 1 hour of ingestion. See, it is fatal. It doesn't kills the person, but within an hour, the symptoms will appear in the body. Person will feel dizziness, weakness, headache, vertigo, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, because pancreatitis will be seen here. And then when we talk about visual symptoms, okay, photophobia will be there, blurred vision will be there, concentric diminution of visual fields will be there. The person might go in partial or total blindness due to retrobulbar neuritis, as the product toxic effect will occur due to the product of formaldehyde on the retinal cells. Hyperemia of the optic disc will be seen, followed by retinal edema, leading to optic atrophy. And last, when we talk about the symptoms, hyperemia of optic disc will be seen. That follows the retinal edema, which leads to optic atrophy and partial or complete blindness to the individual. Person will also go through tachycardia. He will or she will have low pressure, hypotension will be there, hypothermia might be seen, coma follows the unconsciousness, and death due to cardiorespiratory failure. Coma, yesterday also there was a stage of coma in acute alcohol intoxication. If you remember, there was two phase, stage of coma or dead drunk, and another was death. So what happens here? The coma induced in ethyl alcohol will phase quickly, but when coma induced by methyl alcohol, it takes longer time for its onset and it lasts longer than ethyl alcohol. Okay, now we come to the treatment part of the methyl alcohol poisoning or methyl alcohol. First thing is to secure airway, breathing, and circulation. Every time, it is the basic, so I don't mention it every time. And then gastric lavage should be done with alkaline solution, 5% of sodium bicarbonate in warm water in doses of 1 to 2 grams every 15 minutes is used. 500 ml solution should be retained inside the stomach at the end of the lavage. You have to keep it inside the stomach so that later it doesn't react, because hydrochloric acid is also found in stomach. Okay, so it doesn't react. Then correction of acidosis will be the mainstay of the treatment. So many type of changes body goes through so many type of changes. So correction of acidosis is one of the very important function to do by doctor. Then electrolyte imbalance should be corrected. Oxygen inhalation or artificial respiration should be given against the respiratory distress. In ethanol alcohol, we didn't have any particular like kind of antidote, but here we had, and here the antidote for ethyl alcohol is, methyl alcohol is ethyl alcohol. Methanol antidote is ethyl alcohol or ethanol. It prevents metabolism of methyl alcohol, which is then passed as in urine. So how the antidote is given is, we take 10% of ethyl alcohol and administer it intravenously in a dose of 10 ml per kg. 10 ml per kg body weight of the person, slowly over a period of time for 30 minutes. This is the initial dose. That the maintenance dose is done by 1.5 ml per kg per hour till the blood alcohol level is 100 mg per 100 ml of blood. These days, 4-methyl pyrazole is used as antidote. It is also a direct inhibitor of alcohol dehydrogenase and does not cause depression, because ethanol goes on the alcohol dehydrogenase, then it forms formaldehyde, which is very toxic. So it won't go, it will directly act over there and prevent it into formation of formaldehyde and formic acid. Hemodialysis is quite effective because it will remove the blood alcohol, reduce the blood alcohol concentration. Then folinic acid may give, when given intravenously, it will hasten the elimination of formic acid. Formic acid is the end product which will be eliminated by folinic acid. Now we talk about the postmortem appearance. When we see the patient, cyanosis is quite prominent. Of course, patient dies due to asphyxia in both methyl alcohol or ethyl alcohol. Here, cyanosis is quite prominent. The pungent smell of methyl alcohol is appreciated in the body cavities. The smell is very pungent. Mucous membranes of stomach and intestines are congested internally. Lungs are congested as well as edematous. Lungs are congested as well as edematous. There are lots of changes seen in eyes, because I have repeatedly said that it affects eyes. Initial slides also. Degenerative changes in the corneal epithelium will be seen. Retina might show edema of the optic disc with optic nerve atrophy or without optic nerve atrophy. It may or it may not present. Then kidneys are congested and it also shows tubular degeneration. Why it is important to read about methanol? Okay, mass poisoning of methyl alcohol is very common. You see local bhattis, small restaurants where they say local liquor to enhance the effect of the local liquor. Okay, even though local liquor like Chang, okay, Wasa, Roxy, local Roxy, okay, what they do, they add some amount of methyl alcohol in it so that it will enhance its toxicity. Sorry, it will enhance its level of alcohol in the content. And what happens if a person usually used to drink 1 glass of local liquor, then initially it was sufficient for him to get sufficient, then even half of the glass will get him drunk. So it enhances the potency of the alcohol. Then another is Huss tragedy. Huss tragedy means it is a methyl alcohol adulterated intoxicating beverages sold to poor person who cannot afford the country liquor or foreign liquor. I mentioned about mass poisoning, they will enhance it, but Huss tragedy means there will be mass death. Not only 1 or 2 people will die, lots of people will die. Then I haven't heard of Huss tragedy in Nepal, but there are lots of Huss tragedies in India. Bihar Huss tragedy is there, West Bengal Huss tragedy is there, Karnataka Huss tragedy is there. Okay, there are lots of Huss tragedies seen in many places, because not everyone can afford good quantity or good quality of the liquor. So they will just, in 5 rupees, in 10 rupees, you'll get 1 glass of alcohol. That is very cheap, but the quality is very low. And when mixed with methyl alcohol, I already mentioned that it will increase the potency and 1 glass will be sufficient. So they are happy, they get drunk. Shopkeeper is happy because it will get more, it will become more potent. But sometimes accidentally, if the amount of methyl alcohol it's increased in other local liquors, then it will be very dangerous. And in spite of its nauseous taste, the research is pretty frequently taken by habitual drunkards because of its low cost and easy, which I've already mentioned. And this is the end of the class today. So you can later on subscribe, get the videos in the DOFMTKMC. Thank you. If you want you have any question, you can ask me. Just hang on a second.